We are back.
We're back!
Hey-o! Hello, and welcome to Part of Love, the channel devoted to helping you find the love you deserve. I'm Colt.
I'm Ange.
And this is the safe space that we created to talk about all things love. So if you've ever had any questions about dating or relationships or love in general, and you just can't find the answers anywhere else, or you think it's a bunch of bull.
Do some people think that?
I did. Hopefully we can help you here.
And all the YouTube things.
All the YouTube things. Look at them all. They're
things.
Everywhere. Just craziness.
So if you aren't caught up, make sure you check out 1, 2, and 3.
It's a playlist.
Just to get caught up, you had rejected my kiss in a loving, beautiful way.
Yeah, it was for a good reason.
Pushed me out of the cab.
Lovingly.
Lovingly. And I sat there with my heart in my hands. And I knew what I had to do.
We're about to make a pretty big step in the right direction.
Oh.
Or are we? Bum, bum, bum. I'm going to lovingly push you out, and I'm going to tell my side of the story. Okay, so when I first met Angelina, lots of things happened. Love at first sight wasn't one of them. Lust. Totally, right at the top of the list. We talk about the fact that love takes time and it's action over time, so that can't happen at first. However, it was the closest thing that I've ever come to it. So when I had to reject her kiss after that club, it was, oh my God, who does that? Who has their dream girl, the most beautiful person and soul that they've ever seen, want to kiss them and they're just like, nope, not right now. We had this beautiful night, but I just wanted everything to be clear. So we go back to work. This is one of those weird things that relationship books and movies and coaches don't really talk about, which is after you have this beautiful night and moment where you know there's something there, so much so that she tried to kiss you, then you have to go back to the real world. And I had to go back to work and be around her. And we were friends. We were super close friends, but that was it. And she still had a boyfriend. Oh man, it was so fun. It just fucking sucked sometimes. But I did this one thing. She would come in and she would always be talking about something that he had done and being like, oh my God, you are not gonna believe this. You are not gonna believe what he did. Okay, so last night, I and he and I'm gonna give you a heads up. This dude was wrong in nearly every one of these scenarios. But every single time I took his side in the argument, not just to play devil's advocate, but because down the road when we were together, I didn't want there to be any doubt that I had tried to break them up or I had pushed for this. I didn't ignore my feelings completely. I didn't ignore the situation, but I didn't exacerbate it by then being like, yeah, no, he's so wrong. He's so stupid. He doesn't know you. He doesn't deserve you. You deserve someone who deserves you. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's just so tacky and shitty. And so I took his side and we sat there and we became closer and closer. Like, I knew more about her. I just started to fall for her as a person. We could just sit and not talk and just liked being around each other. And that was a big tip off because we spent a lot of time together in the swing dressing room at the theater. I started to see how she interacted with other people and we started to have arguments, not as a couple, but just as friends. Like, there were things that we would disagree on. We would start coming to these understandings of working through things and it was really cool. But she still had a boyfriend. And it just, God, I wish I could explain. It was just like torture. Your heart is like wringing itself out inside your chest and there's like this weight. But then I would see her and you've seen her smile like, ugh, what was I gonna do? Like, not fall in love with her? So we would walk home together a lot of the nights because, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the first couple of episodes, I got an apartment like 7 blocks from her on purpose. So we would walk home together. And one night we were walking down 46th Street. I've got my guitar that I don't play very well. I still don't play very well, but I sure like to have it around to pretend like I played it well. And we were walking home. We're coming up on 8th Avenue. We're quiet, like weren't talking. And she just turns to me and says, I broke up with and then keeps walking. And it stopped me dead in my tracks. I set the guitar down and I just stood there. And she was about 10, 15 feet away from me before I think she realized that I hadn't continued walking. And she turned around, and in the bright lights of Broadway, she turned around and she ran towards me and jumped in my arms and kissed me for the first time. And that was our first kiss. Yeah, it was a good one.
Okay, here's my side. So my kiss is rejected for a good reason. Colt kisses me on the head and he says, when we have our first kiss, I want it to be beautiful and clear and ours and belong to us. And so I'm standing outside as the cab pulls away in front of my building like, oh my gosh, because I know what I have to do, which is I have to break up with my boyfriend, which is not a very good relationship, but we work together, all of us. So that's kind of sticky situation, right? I put it off for feels like 2 weeks maybe. And every day I go to work and my heart is growing bigger and bigger every time I see Colt, every time we're in the green room together, every time we're in the swing room together, every time we're talking, every time we're walking home together. He makes me laugh and I love to laugh and he is so smart. We just have fun together. And I have to answer to the wrath of my current boyfriend. And finally we get into this massive fight. And I'll spare you all the details, but basically he looks at me. He's like, Angelina, you're in love with him. And he's not wrong, poor guy. You love this other guy. And I was like, I don't know if I love him. No, we're really good friends. You're together all the time. This is like not okay with me. Well, I do like him a lot. We're kind of over. It didn't go as smoothly as that, but that's kind of it in a nutshell. So we break up. Hooray, I'm free! Okay, so how do I tell Colt? He basically led on to the fact that he wants a relationship, a romantic relationship with me, right? He wants a first kiss with me. He wants to kiss me back. How am I gonna tell him? So after work this one night, we are walking home together as usual because he lives now 7 blocks from me and holding his guitar, which I think he used to bring to work sometimes to show off. He would show off a lot in front of me. Sometimes he'd perfectly place himself doing push-ups and things in the dressing room. Either way, we're walking home. He's got his guitar. I think we're walking down 46th Street, going towards 8th Avenue. I'm like, tell him now, you're alone. The show's over. The lights of Broadway are bright. Tell him. So I just casually look over and I'm like, so today I broke up with and I'm so nervous. I spit it out so quick and I'm beelining down the street because I don't know what his reaction is and I'm so nervous and excited and feeling all the things. And I didn't realize that he stopped walking. So I turn around, he drops his guitar in the ground and he's just stunned. And then he starts to smile and he's open mouth. And I just remember I ran to him, bear jumped into his arms and he's just laughing and spinning me. And then we just looked at each other and had the most beautiful first kiss ever. And I'm so glad he made us wait because I remember every single bit of that. There was a lot of buildup, but it was the most magical kiss ever and the most magical beginning of any relationship I've been in.